Hi, guys. We're back. Season 11, episode 8. You can get out of this. Oh, Married at First Sight. Sorry. Because that's the only show we review. So, you can get out of this. You want to?
We ain't talking about me, are we?
No, I'm talking about the episode.
Oh.
All right, so we'll start out with Amelia and Bennett. So Amelia and Bennett sit down with their friends. I didn't get Amelia's friend's name, but Bennett sat down and met with his friend Miranda. I did find out that they got married in February. And that's important to this only because Bennett had on shorts and a Cosby sweater. So I was a little concerned about his attire and what the weather was. But I'm going to let it go because it's Bennett.
Yeah, it's Bennett.
I know that Miranda seemed to be very, I don't know if I want to use the word unimpressed. With the fact that Amelia was a doctor. She just said she's so different from our circle when he said that she was a doctor.
Miranda?
Miranda was his friend, Bennett's friend.
At the park?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. She was a hater.
Okay. I'm not saying she
was a hater.
But that was just like a random observation to just be like,
yeah.
Oh, she's so different from the circle, because all he had said about her, at least from the editing standpoint, was that she's a doctor. So I don't know. I do know that when Amelia met with her friend kept emphasizing that she might have to pack up and move. And I feel like that's a production-led
I think that's
thing. The emphasis on it.
Yeah, I think that the emphasis, I think that's their story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Is them having to pack up and leave, which Bennett seems to me. Mm-hmm. Bennett seems like he wants to, but he doesn't.
I can see that.
You know what I'm saying? As I said in my notes, because I took notes this time, that's their speed bump.
Yeah, but Bennett also gave us a gem, YOLO.
It was episodes ago.
No, but I'm saying saying that you only love once, it seems like a person saying that would be I'm down for whatever, because just because you do your residency in another state doesn't mean that you guys can't come back to New Orleans. That's not that it's not a possibility, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, I think for the most part, that's really the biggest hiccup that we've seen so far. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a major decision maker
for their relationship.
And so, I mean, just for TV purposes, you have to push something.
You do, because everything can't look like it's peaches and cream all the time.
But seriously though, Miranda is a true hater.
Okay.
She is.
Tammy does not like Miranda.
Man, she just hating on them, man.
Okay. So after that, the next scene that we see with Amelia and Bennett is where the girls and the guys meet up. Bennett was just kind of discussing everything about them, and I wanted him to get into it more where we talked about the music selections, but he said, yeah, our music tastes are so different. Yeah. She likes indie folk music and I like jazz and R&B. And I'm like, let me find out he out here listening to I couldn't even come up with an artist that I would think that Bennett would listen to that's R&B. Luther Vandross. He seemed like he would be belting out Here and Now.
Nah. He hit me, I can see jazz.
Mm-hmm. Jazz is very him.
Yeah, but he hit the R&B, I was like, nah. Who would he listen to? I can't.
Old school R&B?
What if he was listening to Erykah Badu?
What if he was listening to Jodeci?
Oh, that'd be hilarious, man. That'd be funny. Bennett singing Jodeci. Forever, my lady.
So I do know that I made a note here about everybody thinking that Bennett doesn't have life plans. And it goes on in the confessionals, and Pastor Cal talked about it in the Unfiltered. I know that wasn't part of the episode, but the saying that it doesn't seem like Bennett has a life plan, because I think Brett said it about Bennett in their confessionals. And I think that we don't give Bennett the credit that his life deserves.
We definitely don't.
Because he's doing it for himself, whatever it is. And he has his own theater company. Like, he's pursuing the arts.
Yeah.
And we always look at artists like starving artists. And he's truly like living that existence. And he's okay with it. So why aren't we as society? I'm not saying you and I.
It was fun. I'm glad you brought that part up, because my thoughts on it was his conversation with Amelia about money. Mm-hmm. He was like, you take care of yourself, I take care of myself. That's all we needed to do.
Right.
It's like, hey, that's a good conversation, man. But that was another thing I brought up too, or I wrote down in my notes, was that he doesn't seem to have a life plan, but he's living out his life plan because he's getting by doing what he wants to do. Now, if he wants to change his life up, then, of course, you do what you want to do to make yourself happy. I don't feel like it's our place to say, nah, he's not doing enough, or he's not doing this, he's not doing that. That's why I think the move is so major, because he's able to, or seems to be able to, just pick up and move for her residence.
But he also said that he couldn't because his theater company is in New Orleans. And people would argue you can just start a theater company somewhere else, but that would be like saying you're a doctor. You can go be a doctor somewhere else.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, I guess it's how you look at it, and we're looking at it as society from the standpoint of who makes more money.
Yeah.
So we would say that it's important for him to follow her because she is going to potentially out-earn him. Mm-hmm. And he's just looking at it like, but this is my life, right, and my life is here. So I get his side of it. I just wish we wouldn't be so caught up on what he makes, because I think that that's a lot of he doesn't have a plan is about the money that he could potentially bring in. And so to wrap them up, or the last thing that I have is that they had the gathering with their friends and family. I think family came for them. It might have just been friends.
I think it was their friends.
I was concerned because where was Mary?
Yeah, man, we missing Mary. Mary, you need to be on the show.
I want to meet Mary. But they did something that was really like Bennett and Amelia asking everyone to help paint a mural for their home.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was cute. I thought it was creative. It was nice to get everyone together, and you get to have a piece of your friends in your home, potentially if you're going to be moving out of New Orleans, because they can't access you as easily.
Yeah. I think it was cool because, their friends are artistic.
Mm-hmm. They're artsy.
Artsy, yeah. And, that was definitely a Bennett and Amelia's move. Mm-hmm. I say her name slow because I be getting it confused with Amani. So,
that A girl.
Yeah, that A girl. So you see, that they was gonna do something like that. Mm-hmm. You brought up the point that they don't cook.
They didn't. The veggie lo mein that was in a takeout box.
And I was sitting there thinking, like, man, that does sound kind of good. Anyway.
I like chicken lo mein, but I digress.
I don't care. I just like Chinese food. But one question I did pop up with, and it's just random. Mm-hmm. When they went outside with when Bennett went outside with Amelia's friend and his friend, and they were just kind of shooting the breeze. It seemed like the editing made it seem like that Bennett was just kind of rambling on about what he planned to do, how things were going with him and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And a question that popped up was, do you think that Bennett is trying to convince himself of this process? Because he was like, yeah, I'm all in. I want to do this. I want to do that with her. And, I'm going to give her my all. And, I'm here to prove it. I think he's genuinely being Bennett. And, the big thing is people actually being themselves.
when I look at him, I don't see a pretending bone in his body. Like, and him rambling is still very him. Because remember the honeymoon when she fell asleep, he was rambling. Yeah. So that could very well be a thing that he does. Yeah. But I don't think that he's pretending to want to be with her or be engrossed in the process. I think that he did it for a reason and it just so happened to work out. And I think the weird part about Married at First Sight is that, like, there's not a lot of couples that make it. Yeah. And when you're one of the couples that seems to like be on the path to making it, it can freak you out a little bit because you're looking at it like, is there something that I'm missing? Something I'm not paying attention to? And that's the same for like Amani and Woody. Mm-hmm. I think that you have that. I need to pay close attention to everything, but I also need to live in the moment. Yeah. So I could see both sides of it. Okay. But I do think that he's genuine in at least the person that he is perceiving for us to be. Yeah. They've been filming for like 14, 15 days now. I think that they should be comfortable enough with the cameras that they're not pretending anymore. Yeah.
Nah, I just, brought that up. So
yeah. Gotcha.
Just curious.
So, next, you got anything else for them?
No, that's it.
All right. Next couple is Christina and Henry. And let's just say I had a lot to say. Not really, but a lot to say.
Yeah, I just jotted down a lot of stuff.
Okay. So we started out with them decorating the apartment, which didn't really feel like decorating, but whatever. And then we moved into them trying to have a conversation, which is the theme of this episode with them, a conversation that feels forced. Mm. Like they're getting prompted to ask each other things and to talk about things. And Christina is having a difficult time pulling things out of Henry. Henry also seems to smirk a lot about it, which he said that he has an issue with eye contact, but he says that later on in the episode. But that's something important to bring up. I'm wondering if the smirk is like nervousness leaving his body.
I don't know. I really don't get why Henry actually signed up for this. I feel like Henry signed up for this and then instantly regretted that he got chose to. He didn't think that he was gonna get chose for somebody. Yeah, because it's like I feel bad for Christina. Like this episode, I do. Okay, just because it's like as she having to pull so much from him because like. At some point, you can only talk to a wall for so long before you forget it. I don't want to talk to this wall. Like she's trying her best. Well, this is what we saw for her to. I don't want to say break character, but to break what you call the fourth wall. To break the fourth wall and just straight up talk to producers like, "Hey, do y'all have a question for him?" Like that was, for me that was hard to look at just because it's like. Yo, he's not giving her anything.
She's been edited to be the villain, and she does it well. Yeah. Because he, being the person that he has perceived himself to be on the show, can keep his cool, even when things aren't going his way. And she can't. She couldn't at the wedding. She hasn't been able to on their honeymoon. Now that they're home, she still can't do it. So I think that even if I get you feeling sorry for her because that is very valid. But I think that she's also been edited very well into her villain role. And then to go back one thing with Henry doing this show, I laughed because before you and I dated, remember I did the Steve Harvey morning shows dating thing. I didn't sign myself up for that. Yeah. My cousin signed me up. I did it. I was a good sport about it. And I mean, it wasn't TV, but it was it was filmed and it's out there for people to consume. So for me, you got to make the best of the situation, no matter what the situation is, because when they said that they were matching you, you could have backed out then. Yeah. So if you're going to go through with it and stand up here before everybody and say I do and I'm going to be with her, just do it.
Yeah. I mean, like at this point, and one thing that I pointed out too was they argue like children. Like, no, you didn't do it. You didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they were just bickering at each other. But, you know, like I said, man, I really felt bad for Christina because Henry acts like they know each other so well. And he's saying, I want to take it slow, but what are you trying to take slow? I can understand, okay, let's push off sex for a while. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. But dude, you have to talk to this chick.
Yeah. I think that she needs to explain better what she wants from him, because saying I want you to take initiative can mean a ton of things. Most people think taking initiative or taking the lead usually ends up in like sex in a relationship.
Like I feel like she definitely wants to have sex.
I don't think she want to have sex with him.
I don't know. I think she wants to have sex, and because he's her husband,
she's like, let's
you know, if you at this point, if you was like, hey, let's do it, I'm with it. Okay. Because I'm not getting anything else from you. Now, to kind of go back what you said, because I didn't really have a lot for them, because I truly felt bad for Christina because of how hard it is that she's basically, from what we see, how hard it is she's working to get to know this guy. You know, from her standpoint, it's like, what else am I supposed to do? You know, they had their argument, and
this was the argument that she said she was willing to let him out of the marriage.
Yeah, she was like, why are you here? Like, leave. You don't have to be here. I don't know what his response to that was, because I thought he found his way out. You know, I ain't saying he looking for one, but I ain't saying he trying to stick around, you know, to be in this thing. But
yeah, that's true.
I don't think he's putting a big foot forward to actually get to know her and really take it slow. Because everybody that, you know, from the past experience that was like, I want to take it slow, really, like, just really wasn't into it. The only one that I remember was Jeffy talking about he wanted to take it slow, but even him, he started to kind of pick up the pace once they moved in together. Her attitude towards him is what is interesting, just because, or her attitude towards things with, I want to be initiated, I don't want to be the initiator. I mean, like, some point you do have to take charge. Just my thing is just refuse to do some things.
That's true.
You know, if that's what you want to be like, just refuse to do it.
That's true.
You know, him calling her impatient.
Yep. He called her impatient, and he called her high maintenance when he met up with the guys.
Yeah. He has valid points there. She is high maintenance. We still don't know if she has her own apartment.
And see, that's what makes me feel like she's not high maintenance.
I feel like she is high maintenance because she's able to, she uses her job as her key to doing other things that most people don't get the opportunity to do.
Wondering how that's working for her now during COVID.
I don't know. I mean, like, airplanes are still flying.
Yeah, so. But they're laying off a lot of people. But I digress. So next up was after everybody met up. She did describe herself as a planner. No, she doesn't want to be the planner and doer. Yeah. And that's what she feels like is the role that she's had to take on in their relationship. Somebody has to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, in our relationship, it's me. And it's not that you are not capable. It's just, I don't have the time to wait for you to do it. Like, I want to know what we're doing. So I just take that role. And it's one of the things, like, yes, do I like it when you take the lead on things and plan things? Absolutely. Am I going to cry about it when you don't? No, I don't have time for that. I just do it. When they were meeting up, Woody did talk to Henry about Christina and him wanting to take it slow. And he was like, just jump her bones. Right. He was like, knock her socks off. So, I mean, Woody's approach to it is literally like, essentially kill her with kindness. Right. Like, do what you got to do to make this woman be the way that you want her to be.
He basically told him, like, be all in.
Exactly.
Don't have one foot out the door. Be all in and see what happens. Mm-hmm.
So
easy peasy.
Next is the friends gathering. So everybody came over, and my first question was, who are these friends? Anne Marie didn't seem like that was her friend. That was like her auntie.
That was somebody's great uncle.
Yeah, and then he just kept randomly grinning, and I was like, stop grinning, Pawpaw. Henry's friends have been the same through and through. Like at the wedding, they're the same. They were the same people at the wedding as they are at this event. And I think Diana's in love with him.
That's the one that was talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think she's in love with him. I think they went out with each other.
I don't think that was the one that he went out with.
I don't know. I don't know.
He went out with one, but I don't remember if it was her. But I don't think it was.
I do feel like it's a weird relationship between those friends, because I ain't gonna say it's weird because I have friends like that, but
your friends are not like, you got to prove yourself to me.
No,
they weren't like that.
But I feel like their friend, they know him, and which. I was glad that they talked to Christina, telling her, hey, you just have to, that's just how he is. Mm-hmm. You have to, kind of just be patient with him.
Mm-hmm. And she gave that story about how they've known each other for like a decade, but it wasn't until like the last 3 to 4 years that they became super close after, I think she said her sister died.
It was 2 years.
2 years. So, I mean, if you can take it that slow in friendships,
I mean,
do it.
Yeah, like, but the thing about it is with this process, man, you don't have 10 years.
You don't even have 10 weeks.
You got 8 weeks to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that I just instantly was like, Henry should have just got drunk. Like, he should have got wasted.
Talking to her friends, he should have been drunk, because her friends were very much so on the you're not moving fast enough.
Right.
And so they're very like, at least the guys that were there for her were very, you can tell that they're her friends.
Yeah.
They know what she wants. They know what she needs. And they're just like, you're not doing it. Be aggressive.
Right.
And his friends were the exact same. Like, they were in his corner. Like, I know what he needs. He needs someone that's going to slow down and be patient with him. So I get it. I'm still confused on Anne Marie and that old man. But everybody else seems like they were actual friends of the group and not a coworker at Delta Airlines or wherever she works. Last but not least, you got something else?
No, you talking about
for Christina and Henry.
Go ahead.
Last but not least for them, I listed that he has phenomenal comedic timing with his like things that he says, the random like nuggets that he drops. I think those are hilarious. I'm sure Christina doesn't find them hilarious, but I'm not married to him. Yeah. And then on the very ending of the episode, they were cooking. She was cooking dinner and she didn't know how to use a stove. That concerned me a little bit, because it didn't seem that any of the other wives had issues with using a stove.
That didn't concern me just because I didn't know how to use a gas stove until I had one. She never had she always had a gas stove.
It's not that different.
It's not different, but it is what it is.
And then she said that she feels that their conversations were not genuine and she always has to initiate them. He said he not doing this and he left.
That's one of those moments he said, let's table this, and that's what he did. He put his foot down.
He did. He just didn't initiate conversation.
Right.
But you got anything else for them?
No, man.
All right. Let's move on to the next couple. So next I have Brett and Olivia. They started out meeting with friends. Brett met with one of his friends. Olivia met with one of her friends. They basically had the same discussion. Olivia doesn't know how to budget the way that Brett feels that she should budget. Olivia feels a type of way about it. And they didn't like that Pastor Cal made them argue with each other. So to put that in a nutshell, their money priorities are different.
Yeah.
They're very different.
I think it bothers Brett more because he sees that his goals and aspirations for money is completely different from hers. Mm-hmm. Like where he wants to save, she wants to spend. And what he's not realizing is like she's going to do what she wants to do with her money anyway because she's been doing that. Mm-hmm. You have to give it time. Money is important in a relationship, but it's not the relationship. And y'all been together, 12 days at this point? And
we shouldn't have had this many money arguments.
Right.
In 12
we shouldn't
days.
Even argue about money. Like you say, hey, well, this is how I do my money. This is how you do your money. Let's figure out how can we come together and do our money together. That was one of my points, but
go ahead.
I was going to go ahead and get to the part that one of my favorite parts was Woody and Amani is just showing out in this episode. They're just shining. Right. But Woody.
And effortlessly.
Right. Woody put it so simple. He said, man, just come to grips with the money thing. She makes more money than you. It's fine. Mm-hmm. It's okay. Come to grips with it because when they all got together at the pool to shoot pool and stuff with each other, Brett brought it up. It was like, hey, we argue about her budgeting and stuff like this versus what I want to do. He said something about her wanting to stay in a 5-star hotel. We're like, no, we're not going to be staying in a very nice hotel like that. I'm like,
you don't have to stay in the Red Roof Inn.
Right. He was like, that's what Woody's point was that, hey man, just, get over it, man. That's what you're not going to get her to go from a 5-star to a 1-star. Mm-hmm. So
meet in the middle, 3.5.
Right. Like, dog, he was like, she going to pay for it.
Maybe. Because she wasn't very happy about paying for it on the last episode. When they brought it up, she like, when he was like, well, maybe if we go to those things, you'll be paying for it. She was like, well, that's not going to happen.
Right. I mean, like, and that's the thing that I say about allowing the time. Mm-hmm. Like you having conversations about money and y'all actually arguing about it. Mm-hmm. Y'all haven't had enough time to actually figure out the money thing.
Like, I agree with that. But also when you go back and you look at finances, when we first moved in together, our finances were still very separate.
Right.
And even today, our finances are like at us both having full-time jobs, working outside of the home. Like, obviously that's not the current situation. Don't do that. But when we both had full-time jobs working outside of the home, our money was still separate.
Yeah.
We have a joint account and then we have our own money. And we just pay bills. Like you set up things because when it's all said and done, Brett owns his own home. And I am quite certain that he is not going to let this investment go for his wife unless they're investing in the next thing together. Mm. But when you're like, she mentioned when they sat down to budget, like they created a budget together. She mentioned that she was paying like $1,200 for rent. And then she was paying like $170 for utilities. That's literally like almost $1,400 right there that is now taken away. Yeah. So now you have the investment monthly, mind you, to help him so that you guys can go on nice vacations or that you can go to Saints games and things like that. Like, I think we're overthinking this because he can still maintain himself, but your money literally for $1,400 extra a month can do a lot.
Yeah, it can definitely it can definitely get both of y'all, or even do it like this. Just because I think for her, it's the idea of her paying.
Yeah, she wants to be taken care of.
Right. And for him, it's the idea of, I've been on this same budget for doing it by myself for this long. And then here come you reckless with money. Like, no, we're not finna change up like that. But what I did appreciate and what I did like, it just made me smile ear to ear, is that they both sat down and worked on a budget together. And so because they both did that, they sat down, they worked on their budget, and they talked about things. I think that's headed in the right direction for them in that relationship. Yeah. So at their friends thing,
that's what I was getting to next. Go ahead.
I didn't know what a starfish. I knew what doggy style was, but I didn't know what a starfish. It was one of the. They played a game, and one of the questions was starfish or doggy style, and I was like, "What is a starfish?" But then you showed me what a starfish was.
It's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah,
I thought.
Yeah.
So to like go back into them meeting up with friends, she did sit down with one of her friends and they discussed basically the issues that they're having is that, and I still don't understand how they're having this many issues only with like a week at home, where she's like, I want to go out and do things and he wants to stay at home with the cats.
Yeah.
And it's like, he mentioned in their budget conversation that he spends about $120 a month eating out. And she says she spends about $500. I was concerned because he says he's a serial dater. Who you dating for $120 a month?
They going to the park, man. He's getting real creative with his
doesn't
dates.
Strike me as creative date guy.
Man, you'll be surprised.
He just doesn't.
You definitely, man, our first few dates was all free.
But you're a creative date guy. He just doesn't strike me that way. But to end that out for me, and I don't know if you have anything else, she did sit down and talk to her friend, and she made a lot of, she had a lot of concern with where he owned his home, like the area. She said that it was 45 minutes away from her job. And I just feel like, as someone who has driven over an hour to work before, it's a sacrifice that you have to make sometimes. Especially getting married. It's one of those things. Like, you do that for 6 months until you guys save up enough money and you have a down payment on something in a better neighborhood that is both convenient for him and for you. And I don't mean better as in more expensive, but just better as in convenience wise.
Yeah.
So I think that what has to happen with Brett and Olivia to stay together is they're going to have to be a lot more compromised in their relationship.
Oh, for sure.
On the basic things. Like,
for
literally,
sure.
Budgeting is a compromise. Where they live is going to be a compromise. So the only thing that they don't, well, no, they had to compromise on the cats because he said the cats could sleep in the closet. And she was like, no. Compromise. Literally. That would solve 97% of their problems. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, let's move on to Amani and Woody. I don't really have a lot for them because they were like very easygoing. He made her breakfast. He gave her flowers. Yeah. He's pulling out all the stops. He's just like, I got this. I got this. Give me more sex. Have my babies. I almost love you. So he was just pulling out stuff. I thought that, I also noticed that when they sit down with everyone, Amani and Woody take on more of moderator roles.
Yeah.
They don't talk about their relationship as in depth because they're like, we're good. What about y'all?
Yeah, they do. And that was the thing. Like, well, somebody has to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who you gonna ask, Amelia and Bennett to do that?
Bennett has taken on the moderator role before because what fruit?
That's funny, man. But I think it's just you expect that from those two because of how their relationship is moving in a direction where it's conflict, but it's not a lot of conflict.
The only conflict that I've I think that they've had was about her hair, and he need to let that go.
Like, you know, when they sat down with each other at breakfast, I felt like he was doing a lot right there at breakfast, with making her breakfast, making her the mimosas, giving her flowers and stuff. But, you know, to each his own.
That wasn't a lot.
I mean, I felt like it was a lot, but to each his own. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But she appreciated it. You know, you could tell that she appreciated it, but you can also tell that she's like, you don't have to try so hard. I like you. You know what I'm saying? You can tell that she was like, I'm down with you. But I just feel like a lot of their success is because of their effort into
They jumped all the way in.
Right. They was like, all right, I'm in this thing. We're in it together. Let's try to figure out where we can go with it. What else happened? When they had their friends over,
they played Never Have I Ever.
Right. And Woody lost her thing quick. She had like 4 fingers up and he was done.
I think that he lost it quick though because his friends are petty.
I don't know. Yeah, one of them asked, never have I ever kissed a girl. I didn't expect Amani to have kissed a girl before, but of course Woody has.
Obviously. And like the skinny dipping thing, like obviously that dude was there.
Right.
Like, or like he knows the backstory about what happened. So like that's why I say his friends were being petty. Her friend was being petty with the Never Have I Ever Showered with a guy. And I'm just like, she told you that happened on the honeymoon. Quit playing. You just wanted to bust her out in front of everybody. Like, that's rude. Don't do that.
I think, you know, his friends were, when they separated and went to talk, I think his friends were more so just happy that he was happy. You know, more so happy that, or not even gonna say relieved, but they could see that, okay, it's something about this relationship that's different for him. I think for the girls, Amani was more so relieved talking to his cousin about him and how he's changing and stuff like that. So I think that helped her out a lot more, just with feeling the relief of, okay, he's changing, he's actually trying, and it's not a front. You know, so that was my take on them. I ain't really have much to say about them just because
there's not really a true conflict. The only issue that we have is that she keeps saying, I hope it's going to always be like this. Yeah. It won't.
Right. It's gonna change.
It's not to say that it's gonna be bad. It just won't always be like that. And then anything else for Woody and Amani?
Oh, that's all I got.
Last but not least, Karen and Miles. They actually made me smile on this episode. Like I didn't give Karen the stank face that I normally give her. My first thing that I wrote as a note is Karen is trying.
She definitely is.
She tried. Miles said that, you know, I won't say that he put his foot down, but he essentially made his wants shown to her by saying he wants affection, he wants intimacy, he wants to kiss his wife. They kissed. It was caught on camera by him. Production wasn't there, which I'm wondering if a little bit of Karen's issues is production. Like, she doesn't want to appear away, because Karen seems like the type that would like care about appearances, and she doesn't want to appear away on camera. And by sheltering herself, she doesn't realize how she is perceived on camera. So I'm wondering if that's part of it. Everybody meets up. Karen told Amelia that her and Miles finally kissed on the 13th day. And then my next note is about jumping into the game night with their friends. Yeah. So they had a truth or dare game. Yeah. That's what they played. And these questions were already pre-written.
Yeah, of course. All the game questions were pre-written.
obviously. And they had a bucket for her and a bucket for him. And then each one had, I guess, a truth and a dare on it. And they had to pick one. So
before you say anything else, do you find it awkward that everybody's just chilling and then all of a sudden Karen just came out of nowhere? Hey, let's play this game, y'all. But here are the rules. Y'all just ask us to do either truth or dare.
We all know that was staged.
Yeah.
But I think that that's how game nights go, because when we've had people over and we play games, we don't have to explain the rules of the games most of the time because it's something that we've all played. But it's usually like hey, what y'all want to play? And we pull out all the games that we're willing to play that night. So
what about truth and dare?
Truth or dare?
I messed you up, huh?
You did. I think the truth or dare game was cute. They got them to kiss in front of people.
Oh, one of the dares was for her to sit in his lap
for the rest of the game.
Yeah. And then
that's probably the closest that they've gotten.
Probably. I want to do they sleep together.
They slept together on the honeymoon. There's only one bed in the room.
I don't know. And then the next dare was to
sniff her armpit.
Sniff it, yeah. Like that was the weirdest thing. But I get it. And then the next one was to kiss each other.
And everybody's like,
every time they kissed, I was like, oh, they kissed.
Again,
they kissed.
So they broke off into the groups, and Karen's friend, or actually this was before they broke off into the groups. This was at the start. Karen's friend sat down with Miles. And one thing that was interesting, and I had to do some self-reflection, is that she said that she never really saw Karen in relationships, which, if I'm not mistaken, Karen said she had only been in 2 serious relationships. So for her friends to have not seen her in a relationship, I won't say it was concerning, but it's hard for someone to tell you what this person wants or what this person needs if you've never actually seen them in that element. And I thought about it that, like, my core group of friends, give or take like 3, had never seen me in a relationship until you. I had boyfriends. I just wasn't bringing my boyfriends around friends. So I'm wondering if Karen was guarded in that way.
I don't know. I felt like it was weird how the friend that Miles had just met was like, come over here and talk to me. I know it's staged, but I just find that to be...
Find a better way to stage it and make it seem genuine.
Right. But it was just funny. But I felt like that conversation helped us understand where Karen came from, because, you know, professional Karen is always on. And we don't get to see what she call a K.
K.
Yeah. We don't.
And I get that, because she said that Karen worked in the medical field. And the medical field, having worked in it before or worked adjacent to it, you don't get to be a fun person at work for the most part. Everything can be life or death. I don't know what Karen does exactly, like what type of company she works for, but I know that when you're dealing in the corporate side of the medical field, there is no, we're just having fun at work, because literally everything is business all day, every day. And they were saying that she brings that home with her too. So Karen is going to have to find a way to decompress with Miles. And I think that that's one of the things that would make their relationship better. Were you done with that interaction with the friend?
Yeah.
And then Karen sat down with his sister. His sister was like, he is as great as he seems.
Yeah.
And I don't know about a lot of people's relationships with their brothers, but for me, with my brothers, if a woman comes to me about my brothers, I'm going to tell her the absolute truth about my brothers. My brothers are great guys. Do they have some issues? Absolutely. Would I deter someone from dating my brothers? No. But I'm going to tell you the truth about my brothers, because I love them and I want them to both be happy. But in that same regard, like his sister explained that he wants to be everything to everybody, and it's going to be hard for him to break that.
Yeah.
And then Karen said that she felt that she was the exact same way, that she wanted to be everything to everybody. I'm like, well, y'all got to be everything to each other.
I was like, Karen lying. I was like, no, she don't.
She seems a little bit too guarded to want to be everything to everybody. Or she's one of those, you can tell me all your business, but I'm not telling you anything about myself.
Right.
I don't know. This episode made me smile with them. Like I felt like I found a little glimpse of hope for their marriage. And I'm hoping that we continue building on that. I hope that there's a lot more kisses on the lips.
Right, I hope so.
To come.
That's what he wants.
Nah, he said, was that on the preview?
That was the next episode.
Yeah, he wants the sex.
I mean, like, of course he does. But like, you know, it's like.
You got to build up to the sex.
Yeah, you ain't just going to go past first base.
What was it? What did Bennett say? Y'all smooching?
Yeah.
Smooch a little bit. Give him a little smooch.
No, but you know, just to see their interaction getting better, and them having the conversation of what do you need, what do I need, and you know, Miles didn't seem like he was a people pleaser so much in this episode.
He looked like he wanted to put his foot down a little bit and say what Miles wants. Right.
His importance of his self-preservation came true in this episode. Like, he wants to genuinely be happy, and my happiness is not dependent upon your happiness. But for me to be happy, I still do want you to be happy. But I'm focusing more on myself being happy. And you can see that he wasn't put in a position to where, well, whatever you want, well, whatever you need, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a situation like that in this episode for him. He was actually kind of quiet too when the guys came around each other too. So yeah, that's what I got for Karen and Miles. I love that, you know, we seeing some progression from when Pastor Cal came in and talked to him last episode. So.
I'm gonna go to Pastor Cal's church, you know, when the world opens back up.
That's all I got, man.
All right. So please like this video, comment down below, subscribe to our channel. And if you are tuned into our podcast, we will not have one this week.
Oh, okay.
We're going to push it to next week.
All right.
Pushing it to next week because life got in the way.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it like that.
All right.
All right. That's all I got. Bye.
Peace.